How's the fan right now? The fan going over us? Okay? Okay. All right. I know some of us need visors. Migraines? Okay. All right. Okay. Do what you need to do. I love this text today that we read, guys. The two men who prayed. We see two folks with a different posture. And I want to begin by asking you, have you ever felt like you are the right one? Tristan? Like you know you're right. You done the work? Yeah. And it's just not about right about something, but it's so right that it made you even look at this person or this experience in a whole different way. Let me tell you about one of the earlier experiences that I had. In my early 20s, I got into a really heated debate argument with a brother, okay? And a brother. And it was just, I'm gonna say a brother because I won't identify who the brother is. A brother. But it was just like going back and forth of theology and really, like really interesting things. And at one point, I knew I was just like beating him in the head, as in like I was making my point. And this brother had the audacity to say, this is why women shouldn't be educated. Exactly. And I went, whoo, like, I don't even know where to begin with that because that thought, right? And so I said, you know what? Never mind. And I just left and I went back to dishwashing like my life depended on it. But boy, what? Right? But like, you're with me, right? Totally with me. This guy, how dare he? That's right. But guess what? This is what we're talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about. If we talk about being honest with the Pharisee here, between the two characters, who's the admirable one? The taxpayer? Well, not from the scene. Look at what the Pharisee is doing. He's praying. He's fasting. My God, he's tithing. Thank you very much. Like he's doing everything by the books. If a pastor were to come and say, do you want this fella or do you want this fella to join your church? I'll be like, I'll take the Pharisee. Doing his dues, right? That's right. And yet, Jesus flips it around. Because what's the issue? He's not hurting anybody. He's not purposely exploiting people. What is he doing? What's the harm that he's doing? As far as I can tell, not really. I mean, he looks like he's fine. But then here's where he says, God, I thank you that I'm not like that. This is contempt. And I know we don't use that word contempt in our everyday vocabulary, but it's this really interesting thought that creeps in the back of our mind, where we like compare a little bit. We kind of categorize a little bit. We kind of like measure our parenting, even our politics, our faith, even our bodies in relation to how we do it, like with everything. And it's like, well, at least I'm not like them. Because they clearly don't get it. Because they are the problem. because people like them is what's getting us trouble. Why should I care if they're suffering? They brought it onto themselves. But could this also look like a liberal who writes off a conservative family member as irredeemably ignorant? Could this look like a progressive Christian who looks down on those fundamentals or Pentecostals labels instead of seeing our shared humanity? Could it be like within church institution where the church members say, well, this new person doesn't know how we do things, doesn't really know how it works? Or maybe an activist, someone who moves with body but who only makes space for certain kinds of people. Or prayer whispered, saying, God, thank you, because I could have been them. Let's look at the second person tax collector. He's the one we are supposed to be wary of. We know that. He exploits. The definition, he harms. He's probably, got benefits from other people. What's the term like? Working off other people's backs of, you understand. He prays. It's short. Can't even look up in the sky, whatever that's supposed to mean. He says, God, have mercy on me. Painful. And it's real. Friends, I looked at this text in a whole different way. Because I think I too fell into this trap of my desire and passion to eliminate racism. My desire to see that collective care be embodied in the space that I sometimes may leave others behind. And if I have done so, that is on me. And I want to say, I'm sorry. But this is what it's like. I came back from a 4-day retreat this past week, very profound, very intense. It was at Elton Collins. And I had a confession to make because one of the members who we're kind of working together with, I would call her in my head. She's also a clergy, ordained within the United Methodist system. But in my mind, when I first met her, I said, she's too much. I said, you think I'm too much, okay? When I look at her, I was like, gosh, so much, right? And it was like to the degree of like, I can't really stand this. Only then to realize, I was thinking, where is this coming from? Why do I think she's too much? Why can't she be who she is? Because in that moment, I just separated myself by defining her as something other than me. And the moment I separate, the moment Pharisee breaks away that this tax collector is also a human who has similar experiences, has been written off. And when I began to ask, why is it that you view her as too much and she should be written off, or like you can't get with her, like the energy levels, whatever. But when I looked deeply inside, friends, guess what I discovered? Was my own sense of inferiority. I'm naming it. Because inside, that child was thinking, why can't I be free like her? How come she is so free, and why am I policing myself? Friends, I know about our polarities. I know where we are as a nation. For us to go to the other extreme might be a bit too much. I'm not asking you to go there. I'm asking us, even from here, The moment, the second we separate ourselves, when we other, that's when we miss the point. And that's when Jesus flips the story. And I think what Jesus is trying to tell us is that we have all arrived here not as Pharisees. We didn't get here just as a tax collector. We got here through characteristics of Pharisees and characteristics of tax collector when we said, I can't. God, help me. And other times when we felt so righteous, like, man, those people just need to get out of the way. Same. We hold both spectrums. Do you see? We are the Pharisee. We are the tax collector. And Jesus asks of us to see humility. Friends, we are where we are, not because we got here by ourselves. Someone instilled an idea that all people are equal. Someone instilled the idea that maybe even if you don't agree, kindness matters. Maybe some teacher taught you that you can't have patience for yourself, but I'm willing to wait for it because I see what you are possible, what is possible. Friends, today, in our day, in our age, we need more people who can say, yeah, I recognize what that is. And rather than othering you and saying, man, you are a problem, this is why I don't mingle with you guys, or this is why I don't engage, that moment right there where we just separate ourselves, we have missed the point. We have missed the mark. And it's in those seconds, in those moments when we try to differentiate is when we come in with compassion and curiosity and say, wonder what's really happening with me. Could I stop myself and consciously see this person for who they are and not see that this one action defines their whole identity or their whole experience? We can all use some grace. We can all use some forgiveness. And I do believe Jesus is inviting us to say, no, you are not meant to be perfect. There is no, fittest of the spiritually, survival of the fittest. So, survival of the most spiritually disciplined. It doesn't work like that. We are all evolving. I think what's more important is that we choose what is real. Instead of saying everything's fine, that's faking it. Everything is wrong, that's hopeless. But we do this together. Could we use opportunities the moment we want to separate ourselves, distinguish ourselves? In that moment, could we have that positive, curious inquiry into why did I think this way? What could I learn from this? May it be so. May it be so. Let us pray. God, I thank you once again for helping us to see that we hold both sides of the coin. There are times when we felt so sure and right that we just stopped listening. When we subtly judge someone, just writing them off. We have had moments when we thought somebody wasn't worth our time or kindness. We all have. And God, you still ask of us to raise our consciousness, to see how we might see things differently, with warm inquiry and wide curiosity. May we choose what is real. May we create space for truth to rise together. Help us to trust and listen. Help us to be whole again.